In this film, we've come to the northern part of the battlefield once more to look at the ground around the village of Beaumont-Hamel, and we'll use this bird's eye map to get a bit of perspective as to where we are on that front line of the Somme on the 1st of July 1916. So the familiar town of Albert, that was the kind of epicentre of the British line, we've looked at positions up in the north at Gommecourt up here and Fonquevillers. We've also looked at areas down on the south as well, but where we are here is near to the village of Auchanvillers, Ocean Villas to the British Tommy, and here the British Army's line came down just to the east of the village, and the Germans were in possession of the fortress village of Beaumont-Hamel, and the unit that had been here since the autumn of 1914, so had prepared well its defences for any enemy attack. First the French, when this was a French sector, and then eventually the British. And on the first day of the Somme, as part of the general advance here, the British would advance from their trenches east of Ocean Villas towards Beaumont-Hamel, capture the high ground to the north. Units would advance on what was called the Red Ann Ridge there, and here in front of the village of Beaumont-Hamel, the Lancashire Fusiliers would go into action at the so-called Sunken Lane, which was a position that was in no man's land that they would annex. The attack went forward, and then behind them, in the grounds just behind me there, was the assault on Hawthorne Ridge and the blowing of the Hawthorne mine, more than £40,000 of explosive that was designed to take out the German positions there. But this assault here around the village of Beaumont-Hamel, between Beaumont-Hamel and Ocean Villas, is where the men of the Lancashire Fusiliers would go into action on the morning of the 1st of July 1916. There are many sunken lanes on the Somme battlefields, but this is arguably the most famous sunken lane on the Somme and one of the most famous locations on the Somme battlefields. We can see the sunken lane coming down from the northern area just above Beaumont-Hamel, cutting down through where we're standing now into a kind of a gully, a sunken lane. And this was an old farming route for the farmers of Beaumont-Hamel and Ocean Villas before the First World War. And in 1916 it stood in no man's land, with the British trenches beyond the sunken lane over there, and the Germans on the edge of the wooded area on the outskirts of Beaumont-Hamel just across the field. So it was contested ground. What the British decided to do is to use their tunnellers to dig under no man's land and bring a tunnel out into the lane. So it's banked on this side, and a little bit further down from where I'm standing, the tunnellers came through into the lane, and in the early hours of the 1st of July, men from the 1st Battalion, the Lancashire Fusiliers, the Brigade Trench Mortar Battery and the Brigade Machine Gun Unit came into the sunken lane so that they would move the British line forward slightly and enable them to jump off from this position and shorten the distance across no man's land where they would have to attack. And once that tunnel was opened up and the men brought in, they placed regimental police at the entrance to it to stop anyone coming back. But more importantly, Geoffrey Malins, a cinematographer, then came into the lane to set up to take some film here. And that film, and stills from that film, have become some of the most iconic images of the First World War. And we're just going to turn our perspective here and look at those photographs. These have become some of the most iconic images of the First World War. These men of the Lancashire Fusiliers and their support weapons tucked up against the bank here in the sunken lane, pretty much unchanged today 110 years later as we look down the sunken lane. The men were tucked up hard against the bank because the Germans were not very far away. We can see them right up against the foliage of this part of the sunken lane with their bayonets fixed, ready to go into action, because just down there on the Hawthorne Ridge was the German positions, and it was going to get properly light very, very soon. And they've been photographed by Malins and filmed by him a few days before in a communication trench near here, showing them getting ready for battle and fixing bayonets in a stage sequence that would eventually become part of the Battle of the Somme film. They were led into action here by Colonel Magniac, the Maniac his men called him, who was a veteran of Gallipoli and decided here to bring half of his battalion with their trench mortars and machine gun support into the Sunken Lane, with the other half advancing from the original British front line, and then at 0 hour he would lead the men from here, from the lane, up the banks of the Sunken Lane, up out into no man's land and towards the German positions. And supporting them were the machine gunners and trench mortars. The mortars were captured in a sequence of Malins' film, with some of the trench mortar guys sitting around with their mortar weapon, their Stokes mortar, just here. And these have been colorized, these images now, which I think give even more kind of impact to this when you stand here today and you look down this Sunken Lane and you imagine these men. And I'm just going to hold that image up now, and as you kind of look down the lane itself, you can see it's almost as if time has stood still here, as these men of the Lancashire Fusiliers almost eternally stand here in this Sunken Lane. The sad aftermath of this film is that Malins went back down that tunnel, unlike the lads who were here, to take his film off and to set up a new position for the explosion of the Hawthorne mine, to capture that on his camera. But these lads then went over the top into action, and the battalion was decimated by fire as they moved across no man's land. Many of the men captured by Malins in the early hours of the 1st of July here became casualties that day. Not all of them, but many of them. This was their last moments in time. Their colonel, Colonel Magniac, the Maniac, was wounded, awarded the Distinguished Service Order for his bravery here, and he would go on to be killed in the Battle of Arras in April of 1917. But a battalion that a year before at Gallipoli had been awarded 6 Victoria Crosses before breakfast in the landings at W Beach, now also achieve immortal fame here on the Western Front in this most iconic part of the Somme battlefields here on the Sunken Lane. To conclude our visit on what is quite a small battlefield here on the Somme around the Sunken Lane, I've come to Beaumont-Hamel British Cemetery, and this is where much later the dead were buried. After the 1st of July, many of the bodies lay here in no man's land until this position was finally captured in November of 1916, and then the ground was cleared by other troops who found many of the dead lying here in no man's land, hanging on the German wire, and then brought them in for burial here. And it's quite a small cemetery, dominated by those 2 bookends of the Battle of the Somme, the first day, the 1st of July, and the final attack here on the 13th of November 1916. But it's a place where we can come and reflect, because when we stand here, it's not just the last burial site of the men who were killed here, it is also really just about as far as many of them got on the first day of the Somme. The trees of the Sunken Lane are just behind me, just over here, and you've got a picture, a battalion emerging from there, and this is as far as they got, just a few tens of yards from the position where they jumped off. The Germans were able to lay down murderous fire here from multiple directions, which is why so many were killed. And I'm standing next to the grave of a couple of the men of the Lancashire Fusiliers, both of whom were here in this attack and killed as they moved forward. Second Lieutenant Anderson was one of the platoon commanders here. And when I look into those images that Malins took here, and I think of those faces that look back at us from the past, many of them anxious, many of them worried about what was going to happen next, I wonder how many of them 110 years later are buried here at Beaumont-Hamel British Cemetery, one of those soldiers' cemeteries here on that landscape of the Somme battlefields.